The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Over Smiling Faces podcast, the GallowgateShots podcast. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I just want to apologize, first of all, because God knows what happened in that stream. As you saw and witnessed, both me and Decker just got absolutely binned off, and poor Chris was here to hold the fort. So
was Isak and his agent just trying to shut me down, like.
They've been watching. He's been watching.
Dirty tactics afoot, like, and
but I do apologise. And what we're going to do, we're just going to pick up where we left off. I think, boys, now is probably the time to go through the statement, because we hadn't addressed the Newcastle United statement. So I think it was 3 hours after Isak released his statement. Newcastle released theirs, saying, "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by the club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team, and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee these conditions being met. This is a proud football club and with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates." I feel as if that was a mic drop moment for the club.
Oh, mate, unbelievable. It was a massive two fingers, like, wasn't it? Really, really well written. I know we don't have many people at the club really in these sort of levels. I was wondering if it was how. I was wondering if the bat phone had went off and it was like, "Mate, we need you on social media now. You're going to
get out of
bed." No, it was absolutely brilliant. I think it tried to reference the fans in a little way. It mentioned the fans in there, that the decisions that we make and we take are with the fans in mind. It also really threw it in his sort of over to him in regards to you can come back when you're ready to. Basically saying, it's your decision why you're not here. It's not us. You know what I mean? We're quite happy to have you back. I think the club handled it really, really well. Overriding thoughts though on me is I'm devastated really that it's our club, to be honest, having to be involved in this situation. If I'm being honest, I don't like the idea of having to go onto social media and almost having a spat with your own player. I wish it wasn't us, but I will say the club have handled it very, very well, and the statement was great.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Dick. What's your thoughts on it, Chris?
Yeah, the statement was good. I think, as strong as it possibly could have been. It's kind of what they had to say, and I would be curious who did actually write it. I think the only person who's actually said anything publicly about it was Jamie Rubin, I think. So he shared it, yeah. He shared it, didn't he? Yeah. So I wonder if it was him or somebody along the lines of PR, etc., etc. But yeah, no, I think probably a lot more impactful than Alex's was, in the sense of, I mean, that probably come from a biased standpoint, but I think a lot of people thought that it was strong, even from a non-Newcastle fan base side of things. Apart from Liverpool fans on social media, who I'm convinced are not real people. They were like weak statements, whatever. Like, no, it wasn't. Realistically, the club have come out and said, "Look, we said that these things he could potentially leave because he said he wanted to, but this has to happen for it to happen. That hasn't happened yet, and I presume that is we get players in and a good offer is received. So ultimately, you're stuck, pal. And so I like that they've still left a route in, though. I think that's
it goes down the route, though, Chris, when you think about it. So the club have mentioned on there that there's been no conversation about Alex leaving the football club, which makes you think, right? So the thing which Alex is moving about is a contract situation, okay? Which, yes, we know now he has been offered a new deal. He's not happy with that because he was expecting this to happen 12 months ago. We're led to believe, if we believe in what you say in there. And it also goes on to say that basically, in a nutshell, that Newcastle are not expecting Liverpool to come back in and bid what they want and value Isak at. So 150 million pounds is what we believe him to be valued at by the club. So at this stance, so I feel as if last night there was a line drawn in the sand to a certain extent, where now we're at the point where something has to happen, because I think we're just in this horrible situation and territory now, Decker, that we're waiting for one person to pull the trigger. And who is that going to be? Is it Newcastle giving in and selling Isak, or do we cut off with nose despite we face and make him stay at Newcastle?
I probably one of the most difficult questions to answer, to be honest. I feel like, sometimes when you think this whole drama, I feel like the series has ended, we've had all episodes, and then something else happens, and obviously last night, another scenario. I think I honestly, a couple of things on that statement I want to just mention. The first one was, them have said that there is no official that this football club has said, basically told him he can leave in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just wondering if they're saying basically no longer there. Like, at the moment there's no one there that's ever said that, because the people that did say it aren't here anymore.
I read that as previous as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I did as well. No, I did read it that way, but I'm just wondering. So basically what the club are saying, you're lying. They're calling him a liar, which is never going to go down well, if I'm honest. I probably think, well, we can't sell him if Liverpool don't come back in. Let's be very clear here. So that's not going to happen. But I think if Liverpool do come back in, I actually do think we will sell him. I do. But I think Chris mentioned on part one that we can't just sell him and go, right, we've got rid of the bad egg, we've got loads and loads of money, but we've got Willis Gordon for the rest of the season, because that's not going to work at all. So I would imagine maybe if the club get an offer in and they're confident they can get Wissa over the line, then yes, maybe they will move him on. I wish we could somehow loan him out for a decent fee abroad for 1 year. Something I'm talking hypothetically, of course, but
Well, one thing that I don't get with everything that's kind of being said and all this unsettling, and like they're kind of obviously trying, him and his agent, to drive the price down to a certain degree. Why is there not other big clubs interested? That's the one thing that kind of gets me. Why is it all this whole Liverpool thing? Yes, they can afford it, but there's plenty of other teams that surely could afford it. And then that's one thing I know it's kind of a bit of a segue, but like with all this work they're doing to get them moved away, why is it just Liverpool? And why is there nobody else interested? That's what I'm curious about.
I think you can look at the rest of the Premier League clubs and think they've all invested
outside of that,
strikers. But outside of that, yes. I think I wouldn't be shocked to find out that the club have been looking at loans or selling them elsewhere across the world. Because I can fully imagine it happening, that those strong suggestions of PSG being interested.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Decker, that possibly that the club could be like, all right, okay, well, he's our player for the next year, and we'll just sell him the following summer to another team that could possibly come in and purchase him at that point. It's like I said earlier, it's just loads of different scenarios, and do you know what it is? I'm really fed up with it now. I just want it done either way. I'm just sick to the point where everybody's in limbo right now. And do you know what it is? I'm not asked about Isak and what he wants. The club is in limbo right now because we can't get replacements in. And we're looking at such a huge season, Decker, which could have all been avoided.
That's my biggest fear, is us. And I am tired of the Isak situation, even though we've talked about it in two parts. But I just think I worry for us moving forward on all the competitions we've got, the extra games of the Champions League. And it's not just having the extra games. I want what to do have a good account of ourselves in these competitions. We may not get in the Champions League next season, so I want us to give it the best shot we've got. And ultimately, if we're being honest, we're not going to be able to do that without him or a replacement. So there is a lot of options of how it could end. I just don't see. What I don't see is how it ends well for us, like on the field. So yes, you might get rid of him for a bad. Yes, you might get loads of money, or he might stay. I don't really think any of those options actually help us on the field, and that's what honestly worries us. Like, if I'm being truthful.
Yeah, doesn't matter how strong the statement was and how well we handled it last night. We're still in a really shit spot. Like, it's really, really bad, and it's just such a shame as well, especially after can we not just have a nice transfer window? Like, we didn't have any really transfer window last summer. Now we've had all this going on the entire way through. Like, it's incredibly infuriating, and like, it's mental because we had arguably our best season ever last season. And now we're sat here, and frankly, before the Villa game, like a few weeks ago, I was like, I don't even know if I'm not excited for the season at the minute. Like, I was in that kind of headspace, and to think that this is all kind of being caused to a certain degree, club probably to blame partially as well, of course, but like by Alex and how he's handled it all, it's just completely derailed her, and it's just like, how has this actually happened like this way? I just,
because I still think the window, and I know you can't take it out of it, but just for a second, hypothetically, let's do that. It's been okay. The club have actually strengthened in a number of areas with positions that we've spoke about on here. We need a right winger, we need a centre half, blah 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 blah.
Would have liked them to do it all in July, but besides the point.
Correct. So that it hasn't been terrible. The problem is you've had a few players that have decided not to come, which the media have really, really doubled down on and try to make a mockery of it. And of course, we've got this Isak thing that will not go away. I mean, God almighty, Monday is against Liverpool, man. I mean, the pre-match, the post-match, the media building up, the game itself, it's a huge, huge game that it's all going to be focused on one individual, which pisses us off. Like.
Yeah, the whole build-up of that game, especially being Monday Night Football, the whole show is good about Isak. And do you know what is? It's really frustrating from a fan's point of view, because, and probably the players' point of view as well, because they want to get on with the game. They want to get on with their job and perform. And one of the things which I want to mention, because I did want to kind of spin a bit of a positive on this, the legs of the siege mentality that we have this football club as well could work in our favour. Like, ourselves as a fan base of football club, as the players, could just think, fuck yous all, like, we're going to go and do what we do best. And it just feels as if we're up against the world at the moment. But what I will want to mention, though, is that over the last few weeks, I've seen a lot of fans, and do you know what it is? I'm not even taking into consideration these e-scousers that you're getting online, which just pop up at every single opportunity that they get. But I saw a lot of fans kind of siding with Isak and think, well, Newcastle, just sell him. Just as easy as that, just sell him. I think since last night, or probably the last 2 days, I've seen a bit of a turn where fans of other clubs are thinking, actually, Isak's a bit of a prick for doing all of this. And you can't assume a gentleman's agreement is just going to continue, especially if that person has left the football club, like you mentioned earlier, Decker. If that's not in writing, there's your contract. You're a Newcastle United player for the next 3 years. You're paid nicely. You're on 120 grand a week or whatever it is at this moment in time. And you've just been offered a new contract as well. So either put your big boy pants on, get back to work, do the job you expected, to perform again, and you might get you moving this summer. Stop cry, Austin. Stop whinging about this. Stop posting things on social media thinking you're taking the higher level here when you're not. You've just made yourself look like an utter tit. All because you couldn't attend an award ceremony. That's it.
An award ceremony he doesn't get invited to if he doesn't have the platform and teammates that provide. Look, obviously, unbelievable player. I'm not ever going to take that away. He's incredible, one of the best, if not the best striker on the planet last year. But none of that happens without your teammates, without the fans, without the club. So, he's a wanker, frankly. Anyway, sorry, I interject.
There's a great comment just on a funny note there. CJ Tuna said, Carragher showing Isak round houses on Merseyside pre-match, no doubt.
Jesus. Honestly, I am actually so thankful I'll be a 10 pints deep and PV at the game, so I don't have to watch that loving that'll be coming from him on bloody
I was
Monday
thinking that I'll be watching it. I'll be at the game, so I'll not be watching that.
Thank God.
I think it'll be feisty, mind you, between both sets of fans. It's going to be some night, mind you. It's going to be mad. But yeah, it's just so frustrating. It's just, and it does annoy us because there's a lot of fans, the same fans that are saying, well, just let him go. Just let him go. He doesn't want to be there. So what you're not selling him for? Or the same fans that go, well, we need to not attack the top six, but break into the top six. It's always the big clubs. It's always this, it's always that. Well, that's what we are trying to do. So the club are trying to, they've got him under contract and we're trying to keep all of our best players, you know what I mean? And it's just a mad situation. I look at like Eze's situation at Palace there. I mean, he's probably, by all means, Arsenal are interested now. As of tonight, we've just seen when we went off there. But he played against Chelsea at the weekend, scored. If it wasn't for VAR, he scored. He's still trying to do the right thing by the football club and the fans, even though it looks like he's going to leave. And it's just so bad. But that siege mentality you mentioned, Chris, I look at some of the characters we've got in the dressing room and within the team, your Dan Burns, your Joe Lintons, your Brunos, just to mention a few. I've seen it against Villa where, all right, we didn't win, but they're standing up on it to be counted for, and they will make sure they're giving everything that they can, regardless of the noise on the outside. So that's a real positive for us.
I think as well, the whole thing has kind of taken us back to, for me at least anyway, for when we first got taken over and it was kind of a fuck everyone else attitude. That definitely feels like it's been instilled again and then some. I think the fan base after everything, because we've been made a mockery of on social media. Like let's not get it twisted. Like that, it has been bad, and for some good reason, for some not. Obviously, there has been some sensationalizing around that. But at the same time, it has definitely, like, the fan base are angry, they're pissed off, partially at the club, some people as well, but like around everything that has happened. So I think if we're going to have that attitude back, I think it's gonna rile the fans up for these home games. It's going to hopefully.
I think we're at the best, right?
Yeah,
as a fan base, we're at the best, and then that in turn gets
when people underestimate us as well.
Really, I mean, it might get Joe Linton sent off every week, but still,
it'd be funny though.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud on Monday night, and there's going to be some challenges in there from both sides. I would expect, because it's going to get a bit feisty in there. I want to quickly go through the questions. I do apologize. Josh sent in a donation on the previous stream. He has copied it into this one as well without the donation this time. I would have been really pissed off if he had to send a donation twice, Josh. But he has sent it on the previous stream. And his question is, sorry for covering your face there, Chris. He says, do you think Stavely is partly to blame for this? Why promise Isak a pay rise 2 years into a 6-year deal? That would have hit our PSR even harder. I liked her, but her mouth was always 2 steps ahead of her brain. Do you know what it is? I think we can't point fingers right now in regards to the conversations which are happening behind the scenes, or what Isak is alleged to happen behind the scenes. Because if these conversations have happened, why is Isak not naming that person? Surely that gives him a better stance to say, right, the conversation did happen, it was with this person. Why has that not happened?
And also, and this is something Simon Jordan was speaking of, the word of somebody means absolutely nothing if it's not in writing, and you work on a basis of a very serious, expensive contract. If it was that big of a promise and that big of a, okay, this is definitely happening, why wasn't that in writing? So
it's a big conversation.
Him have dropped the ball massively if that had been the case.
Well, let's flip it for 1 second. Let's say Newcastle went, your contract says you're getting 120 grand a week and 10 grand every time you score a goal. Actually, we're going to give you 60 grand a week and a £5 when you score a goal. I guarantee his agent will be getting that contract out the filing cabinet going, hang on a second, we've got this signed here. So don't all of a sudden twist it to go, and to the point though, Josh, to what Josh is saying, sorry, do you know what it is? He's probably right. I don't ever want to slag Amanda off. I don't ever, because I think I love her a bit, what she did for us, honestly. But was she a little bit let her tongue go a bit? She did. Let's be fair, she did. We're going to win the lot, we're going to win the Champions League. And I can honestly imagine her probably seeing that, right? I can. But I don't want to point the finger because we don't know that to be truthful. We don't know that for sure. But to the point, though, is get it written in a contract then. If it's that serious of a promise or a conversation you've had, sit around the table and get it added into your contract. You haven't even got a release clause in your contract anyway. Do you know what I mean? So, again, you can blame his agent for that or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I just think I suppose anyone else watching this might throw it and go, well, Wissa's going in a huff because he was promised he could leave. I get it, right?
Yeah, and do you know what it is? We're getting a lot of shit online from other fans, saying Newcastle United fans saying that they're being hypocrites in regard to the whole situation. That we're unhappy that Isak's refusing to train, but we can go and show interest in Wissa. Nobody is happy with the way that Wissa's basically portraying himself either. Everybody's pissed off at that. And it's the exact same position, and Brentford fans have got every single right to be pissed off with him as well, just like we are pissed off. I think you've got to look at it from all angles and think, well, both of them are complete arseholes at this moment in time for binning off the current football clubs. It's not on, and it sets a horrible benchmark for future dealings as well. And I think this is probably why I think Newcastle's statement was so good and so strong. It's basically setting out and saying, we're not going to put up with this. Like, it's not going to happen. And if any of the players coming into this football club that are currently at this football club are going to act in the same way, it's not happening. And I think that's why we're so strong.
It is a good. It's a very show of strength, like, because we worry what happens to Tonali, what happens to Bruno. I don't think Bruno would do it, to Chris's point earlier on. But Gordon, for example, I mean, let's be real, right? Gordon perhaps had his head turned for Liverpool, the same team last year, Liverpool, right?
Well, he didn't. So you got to remember, Gordon didn't go to training for Everton as well. I think the difference with that guy is the fact that he was getting chased down the street.
Not for a good reason. You really. So yeah, again, people leave that out though, don't they? You know what I mean? Getting chased down the street. No one seems to mention that part. But yeah, I mean, we need to be strong here because we need to make sure other players know. Do you know what is actually? I can't act that way because it's not going to get us anywhere. You know what I mean? Whereas you're absolutely right. If we just sold him tomorrow, or a few weeks ago, say, in a few years' time or a year's time, Tonali might go, do you know what, I'll just not turn up and I'll get me moved back to wherever I want to go.
For him.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think as well that they're all very different situations too. I think, you know, even just to add on to the one with Gordon, like that was also, and with all due respect to Everton at the time, they were also like fighting relegation, whereas we were really pushing on. It's not like he's like, and I know fans will sort of say, Liverpool are a bigger club than us. They're a better team than us. Typically, you know, they do have more chance to go and do well this season. That I don't think any Newcastle fan would argue otherwise. But it's not like we're finished fucking 16th, is it? Either, you know what I mean? It's like we're finishing the Champions League, won a trophy. Like we are like fully still on the up, and it's just like, and then so we should be able to play a hard bargain in this sense, of the realistic thing. We don't want to sell it to somebody who's a massive competitor to us. We will see it from the very top. They will see Liverpool as a competitor. They are, like, you know, a lot of us probably would have said at the end of last season, we're a few really good signings away from really starting to challenge. Like, so then we sign our best striker, we sell our best striker to Liverpool. That is like a massive disadvantage to us. Like, we are literally making them a lot better and absolutely hurting ourselves. So like there's a good reason as to why we wouldn't want to sell them specifically to another Premier League club, especially a team who we are wanting to compete with.
100%.
I agree. I'm going to end on this question. Dega, so we're led to believe that Isak was offered a new contract in the last few weeks and he quickly turned those down. If he does stay at the football club and he gets that new contract, does that piss you off?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Because I feel like, well, he hasn't won necessarily because he wants to leave, doesn't he? But imagine acting this way at any other job and then getting a pay rise out of it. Fuck me. Do you know what I mean? You go on strike and you don't turn up for work and you release a horrible, a nasty statement about your employees and your team and your club. But I tell you what, we'll upgrade you from 120 to 200 grand a week. It doesn't sit right with us, but I'm not naive enough to know what football's like as a game and what it's like as a business. I get it, right? I don't think it'll happen either, by the way. But.
No, I think the only way that he would get a new contract is if they said, right, we'll put a release clause in for you so you can go.
Yes.
So,
yes, I agree with that.
Which is
now
a whole kind of worms in itself.
The other thing is even if he does stay, right, and say he gets a new contract and he comes out with a really lovely statement, he's on the fans channel and he's sitting there with that guy in the dressing room or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, the fans, I knew it was unfair on the fans, and I just don't think any of it's going to wash, is it? Though that's the thing, because there's so much damage being done. Even if he comes out with a really well worded or well scripted apology, really we all going to know that you don't mean a word you're saying there. Like, so.
Yeah, even if he puts the most grovelling statement out in the next couple of weeks, if he stays at Newcastle, if that deal doesn't go through to Liverpool, the comment section on that will be turned off. There's no way he's allowing comments on anything like that in any time soon.
Would you be? Let's say you came back, right, and of course 5, 6, 7, 8 games, you're not particularly playing well. Fans are still on his case, but then we started seeing the Isak of old. Let's just say we did. What are your feelings? Do you think you would have as the season progressed? Do you think you would just go, it's great to have him back. We'll move on. We'll see it. Well, he'll probably go in the summer, but let's enjoy it while he's here. Or would there still be this disdain feeling throughout?
I'll jump in first. I would celebrate the goals as a Newcastle fan supporting this football club, but I would rather somebody else was scoring the goals.
Okay, Chris.
I think he's frozen now.
Oh, is he frozen?
No, Christ.
Oh, he's there.
I'm
he's
back
there.
now. Yeah, honestly.
I was going to have a part 3.
Thank God it was just me.
That was really funny.
Did you panic for a second there, Chris?
Massively. Massively. I think that was actually my internet, to be fair.
It was a lovely smile as well, because you were just sitting really happily about it.
I can see it there now, yeah. That's just I look like I'm paying attention at least anyway.
Did he hear the question from Decker?
Would I be happy to see him play again if he was scoring plenty of goals? I'm
done. I'm done for tonight. Honestly, I'm fucking done.
Yeah, I think that's it, Chris.
I'm gonna wrap it up there.
Broken promises, Chris. You should be here.
Twice in one night. Thanks everybody who has been watching this one. And the last one. There's hopefully plenty more stuff to come your way, which doesn't have these sort of interruptions. If you have enjoyed either of these streams, just like the video.
You've got 2 streams tonight. How lucky are these people, right?
Receive bonus. Become a subscriber. I've lost all track of everything which I'm doing. Poor Chris's face is dead frozen.
Listen.
Thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.
Is he